Hi everyone. Today in this video let us discuss about the important MCQs on antihypertensives. So let us start with the first question. Prostaglandins produce vasodilatation mediated by which of the following mechanisms? Options are P. Increase in the cyclic AMP, Q. Decrease in the cyclic AMP, R. Increase in the nitric oxide, and S. Decrease in the calcium. So by which mechanism prostaglandins produce a vasodilatation? A. Q and S, B. P and R, C. R only, and D. P only. So here you have to select the mechanism which is related with the vasodilatory effects of the prostaglandins. If you have any idea on the answer, you can pause the video and you can think and spot the right answer. Now we will discuss the right answer and explanation for this question. So here the right answer is the option D, P only. That means the prostaglandins produce a vasodilatation by increase in the cyclic AMP. When the cyclic AMP levels are going to be increased in the vascular smooth muscle, it produces a vasodilatation. And when the calcium levels are going to be reduced, again it produces a vasodilatation. But the drugs which are going to decrease the calcium levels are mainly the calcium channel blockers. Similarly, if you have the drugs are going to produce a vasodilatation by release of the nitric oxide, so increase in the nitric oxide is one of the mechanism of the organic nitrates. And finally, what about the decrease in the cyclic AMP? When the cyclic AMP levels are going to be decreased in the vascular smooth muscle, it produces the vasoconstriction. So here the prostaglandins produce a vasodilatation mainly by increasing the cyclic AMP levels within the vascular smooth muscle. So P only is the right answer for this question. But interestingly, we have so many types of prostaglandins and they produce the mixed effects on the vascular smooth muscle. Few of the prostaglandins produce a vasodilatation and few of the prostaglandins produce a vasoconstriction. For example, prostaglandin E2 produces two effects. This PGE2 can act by increasing the cyclic AMP levels within the vascular smooth muscle, which results in the vasodilatation. At the same time, it can also act by decreasing the cyclic AMP levels, which produce the vasoconstriction. Here, this PGE2 produces the both vasodilatation as well as vasoconstriction through different types of receptors. When it acts through the EP2 and EP4 receptors, it produces a vasodilatation. And when it acts through the EP1 and EP3 receptors, it produces the vasoconstriction. Similarly, another prostaglandin is the PGF2. PGF2 works by increasing the calcium levels within the vascular smooth muscle, which again produces a vasoconstriction. And another prostaglandin is the PGI2, which is also called as prostacyclin, which increases the cyclic AMP levels, resulting in the vasodilatation. So here, even the prostaglandins produce the different effects through the different types of mediators and receptors. We have to remember the mechanism which is related with the vasodilatation. As the cyclic AMP levels increases, it produces a vasodilatation. As the cyclic AMP level decreases, it produces a vasoconstriction. Second question. EDHF produce vasodilatation by A. Release of the nitric oxide, B. Opening of the potassium channels, C. Increase in the cyclic AMP, and D. Increase in the cyclic GMP. So here what is EDHF? EDHF indicates the endothelium derived hyperpolarizing factors. So these factors are going to be released from the endothelium, but they produce the hyperpolarization within the vascular smooth muscle, resulting in the vasodilatation. Which mechanism is related with the EDHF? So here the right answer is the B, opening of the potassium channels. When the potassium channels are opened, these potassium channels are outward going, they produce the hyperpolarization resulting in the inexcitability of the vascular smooth muscle. So they prevent the depolarization by producing the hyperpolarization. Therefore, muscle is unable to contract, resulting in the inexcitability. On the other hand, the mediators which are going to release the nitric oxide are going to increase the cyclic GMP levels within the vascular smooth muscle, which again produce the vasodilatation. Similarly, what are the options? C and D again produce a vasodilatation. The increase in the cyclic AMP as well as increase the cyclic GMP levels within the vascular smooth muscle going to inhibit the one of the important enzyme MLCK, myosin light chain kinases. When this enzyme is going to be inhibited, the phosphorylation of the myosin light chains is going to be inhibited, which prevents the contraction. So either increase in the cyclic AMP or cyclic GMP levels within the vascular smooth muscle produce the vasodilatation. But hyperpolarization is mainly produced by opening of the potassium channels. So here we can see the two types of factors, EDHF. EDHF are the factors which are going to open the potassium channels, and another type of factors are the EDRF. EDRF indicates endothelium derived relaxin factors. These factors are going to increase the nitric oxide release. And here the increase of potassium channels produce a vasodilatation, as well as the nitric oxide is released, it increases the cyclic GMP levels, which results in again vasodilatation. So both EDHF as well as EDRF produce the vasodilatation, but by different mechanisms. EDHF opens the potassium channels, EDRF releases the nitric oxide. Third one, which of the following drug acts as endothelin receptor antagonist? Options are A. Bosentan, B. Enalkiren, C. Chromocalin, D. Minoxidil. So here which drug acts as a endothelin receptor antagonist? Endothelin is one of a vasoconstrictor which can act on the endothelin receptor ET1 or ET2, thereby produce a vasoconstriction. So here which drug acts as a endothelin receptor antagonist? The right answer is the bosentan. Bosentan is a endothelin receptor antagonist and it is used to treat the pulmonary artery hypertension. And what about the option B? Enalkiren. Enalkiren is a renin inhibitor which can inhibit the activation of this renin-angiotensin system. And other drugs like the chromocalin and minoxidil, these two drugs are ATP-sensitive potassium channel activators. These are just acting like the EDHF, endothelium derived hyperpolarizing factors. And when these drugs are going to open the ATP-sensitive potassium channels, they result in the hyperpolarization leading to vasodilatation. But here the bosentan is one of the drugs which acts as a endothelin receptor antagonist. Fourth one, the mediator which selectively produces the renal vasodilatation is A. Norepinephrine, B. Dopamine, C. Serotonin, D. Acetylcholine. All these are the different types of neurotransmitters. Which neurotransmitter produce the renal vasodilatation selectively? So here the right answer is the dopamine. Dopamine acts as a renal vasodilator. Norepinephrine is a vasoconstrictor, whereas dopamine is a renal vasodilator. So that's why we have one of the drug phenoldopam, which is a dopamine analog, which can be used as a renal vasodilator in the treatment of emergency hypertension. Acetylcholine can also increase the release of the nitric oxide from the endothelium, thereby it can produce the vasodilatation, but it is not a renal vasodilator. Fifth one, which of the following is a recombinant form of human B-type natriuretic peptide? A. Bosentan, B. Nicorandil, C. Chromocalin, and D. Nesiretide. So here it is very easy to identify the answer. So the right answer is Nesiretide. Nesiretide is a BNP, human B-type natriuretic peptide, and this drug acts by activation of the guanyl cyclase A enzyme. This GC can convert the GTP into cyclic GMP. In this way, nesiretide can increase the cyclic GMP levels, thereby it can produce the vasodilatation. Sixth one, which of the following drug is converted into cyanide by exposure to the light? A. Nicorandil, B. Captopril, C. Nitroprusside, and D. Valsartan. So here one of the drug, when it is exposed to the light, it is going to be converted into cyanide, which produce the cyanide toxicity. So that's why this drug should be stored into the dark colored bottle in order to prevent the formation of the cyanide. So what is the name of this drug? Here the right answer is the nitroprusside. Nitroprusside, which is commonly known as sodium nitroprusside, which is a organic nitrate. So the sodium nitroprusside is an organic nitrate which can be represented by RONO2, and when this is exposed to the light or even air, it is going to be converted into cyanide. This cyanide produces the cyanide toxicity, resulting in the hypotension, flushing, and dizziness in the patients. So that's why this sodium nitroprusside should be stored into the dark colored bottles and filled up to the brim along with some antioxidant. And what is the use of this drug? Sodium nitroprusside, even it is an organic nitrate, it is not used for the treatment of angina. It is mainly indicated for the treatment of emergency hypertension. Seventh one, which of the following is a phosphodiesterase type 3 inhibitor? A. Theophylline, B. Sildenafil, C. Roflumilast, and D. milrinone. So here all these drugs are acting on the phosphodiesterase enzymes, but they're having a different selectivity. So we have to identify the drug which is selective for the phosphodiesterase type 3 enzyme. So here the right answer is the milrinone. Milrinone is a phosphodiesterase type 3 inhibitor which acts on the heart, and by inhibition of this phosphodiesterase type 3 enzyme, it increases cyclic AMP levels within the heart, which increase the force of contraction. That's why milrinone is a inotropic agent that is used in the treatment of congestive heart failure. On the other hand, the option A is the theophylline, which is a natural product and which acts as a non-selective phosphodiesterase inhibitor. This theophylline can be used as a bronchodilator in the treatment of asthma. And option B is the sildenafil. Sildenafil is a phosphodiesterase type 5 inhibitor which is used in the treatment of erectile dysfunction as well as in the treatment of pulmonary hypertension. What about the roflumilast? Roflumilast is selective for the phosphodiesterase 4 enzyme, and this drug acts as a bronchodilator used in the treatment of asthma. So here the milrinone is one of the drug which is selective for the phosphodiesterase type 3 enzyme, and it acts as a inotropic agent. Eighth one. Which of the following drugs show taste disturbances as one of the side effects? A. enalapril, B. losartan, C. captopril, D. hydralazine. So here the right answer is the captopril. So here both enalapril and captopril are the two drugs which are belonging to the category of AC inhibitors, but captopril only shows the taste disturbances because this captopril is having the thiol group in the structure, and since it contains the thiol group within the structure, it produces few other side effects which are commonly known as penicillamine-like side effects. Penicillamine is one of the metabolite of the penicillin which is also having the free thiol group, which produce few other side effects like the taste disturbances, neutropenia. All this because of presence of free thiol group. And captopril also produces similar side effects because of free thiol group. Ninth one. Which of the following drug was found to produce a systemic lupus syndrome? A. losartan, B. nicorandil, C. sildenafil, and D. hydralazine. So one of the drug is going to produce some hypersensitive reaction, systemic lupus syndrome. What is the name of the drug? The right answer is the hydralazine. Hydralazine is one of a vasodilator which is a potassium channel activator which can produce the hypersensitive reaction like the systemic lupus syndrome, which results in the muscle and joint pain as well as fever in the patients. And this side effect is produced by hydralazine because of the hypersensitive reaction. 10th one. All of the following are potassium channel activators except A. minoxidil, B. chromocalin, C. sotalol, D. nicorandil. So here we have to identify the drug which is not a potassium channel activator. The right answer is sotalol. Sotalol is not a potassium channel activator. Instead, it is a potassium channel blocker. Sotalol is a class 3 antiarrhythmic agent which acts as a potassium channel blocker. It inhibits the phase 3 of the action potential, thereby it increases the action potential duration. What about the nicorandil? Nicorandil is one of the drugs which is having the dual action. It's a potassium channel activator as well as it also acts as organic nitrates and it releases the nitric oxide. Finally, minoxidil and chromocalin are the two drugs which are the ATP sensitive potassium channel activators and they can be used as antihypertensives. So all these drugs are potassium channel activators except the sotalol which is a potassium channel blocker. So these are the 10 important multiple choice questions from the antihypertensive category. In our next video, we will discuss more number of multiple choice questions. So that's for today. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel, share this video with your friends, post your comments in the comment box. Thank you for watching this video.